So on the little bit more general here, we're gonna talk about the SSA chain. And on the little bit more specific, we're gonna talk about the Rhea chain. So then what is SSA and what is Rhea? So in general sociological theory, we talk about actors. Actors are pretty much subjects, or it's individuals acting very freely. And then in the Rhea model we talk about agents. And those are a little bit more restricted. Agents are supposed to make tasks in a process of production. In sociology we talk about situations. It's basically, it's like a theater where anything can happen. In Rhea we talk about events, and these events are about production. In sociology we talk about social objects. Those are any object that we are all aware of, you could say. In the Rhea model we talk about resources. Those are objects that are supposed to somehow be used in production. So now let's forget about these concepts for a second and just look at nature. We want to design a framework for doing accounting, basically. So we're going to develop a software that is very trustworthy. So for this purpose I have chosen one object from nature. It's called, in Swedish it's called Rose of the Desert. It's just a stone. This stone is formed in deserts. It's sand just blowing very, very quickly, and then small objects of sand over thousands of years shape these rose structures. So this is then supposedly a very solid and trustworthy piece of material, and then we ask ourselves, how does this work? How does the rose crystal make itself? So this is a question that I cannot answer. I cannot even begin to answer at this point. So I have made this a little bit more simple. This is a structure just made out of pieces of wood. And this is the conceptual model about how the Rhea chain and the SSA chain are going to be basically words that are linked in a chain like this. So we see there are three orientations in this. There's the up and down here, up and down there, and the sideways here. 1, 2, 3. This chain is a little bit difficult to crack open. There is only one place where it's a little bit loose, so you can actually unfit these three three structure and break it like this, so it becomes just a straight chain. So each of these pieces of wood is just going to be, in the SSA chain it's going to be a word that is a social object, a word that is a situation, and a word that refers to an actor. In the Rhea chain it's going to be a class, because now we're already talking about programming. In the social object we're just writing, but now we're programming. So the piece of wood is going to represent a class called resource. Here the piece of wood is going to be a class that is an event. And here the piece of wood is going to be an agent class. This chain now can only be taken apart from one side, and then the first piece of wood is going to be the first instance of the resource class, or the first meaning that, the first part of the meaning that refers to the social object in the sentence, right? Here we're creating sentences. Here we're creating blocks on a blockchain that refer to how resources, events, and agents go together in one piece of production, so to speak. Here we're just piecing social objects, situations, and actors into one sentence. So now the chain has been disassembled, and we see there are 3 strands or 3 types of objects. These are social objects, and these all refer to just anything that we can pay attention to together in the SSA chain, or they are referring to resources that have been used in production somehow. This chain, we have the events or the situations, and in this chain we have the agents or the actors. So these are then, yeah, we're able to read these basically and put them together. These are going to be sentences. If you put these together, they have to be understandable sentences that make sense for a sociologist. Okay? And this is going to be used to create an algorithm for collaborative science, basically. So here we have just sentences. We can think of Noam Chomsky, the generative grammar algorithm, stuff like that, on a more general level. And then on a more specific level, we're going to talk as sociologists about how resources are used in situations. And by whom have they been used? This is accounting. Like, we're going to go in and look at groups. What are they actually doing? And then we're going to write our observations down. And we're going to post them in a forum that has the SSA chain.